You are listening to the 2.5 Weebs podcast, a show where two veteran anime fans drag a newbie down the rabbit hole of waifus, isekai, and fan service, as well as the happenings in the gaming world. The show is recorded every Sunday live on the Mixer channels of Comfimus and Mr. Vengeance. Enjoy.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of 2.5 Weebs. This week joined with Copper and Comfy as always. How have you guys been? What you been up to?
Good. Doing everything all the time.
So are you you become a big game hunter as well then? Because you've been doing everything?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get a lion yet? You should kill.
No, you know what? I had to get a leopard, right? And then I had to leave so I could make it to this podcast.
Oh shit! So we interrupted your hunting adventures. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably get the lion like next week.
Okay.
But
all right. Will it be a copper
to,
lion?
Confirm it, today.
No,
Gotcha.
no, that's in June. That's when he gets the copper lion.
Hey.
Oh no! Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Right on the convention floor.
Yep.
Oh no!
Nice. So you guys been up to anything actually in like video game stuff? I just been doing some Division and Destiny.
I played so much Destiny 2 PvP this week.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you hit Legend. Good shit.
I logged into Destiny to pick up Savior, then logged right off.
Yeah, I think I fired it up. I fired it up just a little bit off stream to just dink around, and like I'm super rusty at PvP, and I also have a new mouse, so now I don't have as many buttons on my mouse, which I was using a lot for actions, so my muscle memory is kind of fucked, which is kind of unfortunate. But we'll get better again.
I get that.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I was playing Division just like you, trying to get stuff done.
Right.
Before
stuff.
Yeah.
Before tomorrow, because the DLC launches tomorrow.
I'm ready. I need it. I'm excited.
Other than that, not really. I've been working on stuff I can't talk to you guys about. So, me.
Mr. Super Cool NDA over here.
My name's Copper, and I'm successful. Ass.
Wow.
Trust me, it's neat. The stuff I've been working on is neat. I just can't tell you what it is.
Oh, yeah. Lots of NDA stuff is pretty cool though. Happy that you are getting to work on some stuff.
Always fun.
NDA stuff is interesting.
Oh man, but you know what was this week, guys?
The Trials of Osiris announcement.
Pancake Day.
I was gonna say PAX, but
It was also Pancake Day.
Oh,
pretty sure. So.
What was that? That was this week. You're right, because this week was the start of Lent, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Does that have something to do with pancakes?
International Pancake Day is
falls the same day.
It's the Tuesday before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the same day that like Mardi Gras is.
Got it.
Yeah, and Mardi Gras was, I believe, this week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, we're all dumb, so we could be wrong, but we don't know that.
Well, one, Mardi Gras isn't celebrated in my country.
Same.
I'm an atheist, so I don't give a flying fuck about things like Lent.
Yeah.
So.
I miss you.
Okay, you want to be real? Nobody cares about Lent. Nobody keeps track of it.
That's
right?
not true. There's been people in a couple of chat rooms who have mentioned they're doing things for the whole Lent thing.
Really?
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Listen, I grew up in churches, and man, dude, I could not tell you when it starts ever.
It's
Nobody I knew.
Some people follow pretty strictly the give this thing up for this many. Was it 40 days?
I think it's 40. It's like 40 days before Easter, and then it ends on Easter, right?
I swear somebody was
Something like
talking about they gave up chicken for Lent, and because they're like into working out and stuff, and they eat a lot of chicken. And so they replaced chicken with eggs.
Yeah, one of the ones I saw is that someone gave,
which is a little bit
meat.
funny, but
like they gave up meat for 40 days, no meat. It's like, oof.
That sounds rough.
I mean, hey, it's a good way to start out a vegan diet.
Yeah.
Or a vegetarian diet.
Well, they're still eating fish, so.
Pescatarian diet.
I mean,
fish is not technically meat for religious people.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a weird category. it dates back a really long way. Just leave
Seems
it
kind of weird to not have that count as a meat though. But hey,
it doesn't count because not every they consider fish to be separate from land animals.
Okay.
As I said, it goes back a really long way. It's based on the whole how ancient peoples viewed the world. These are the same people who are these 4 humors exist in the body, and this is why you get sick when they get out of balance. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no scientific reasoning behind it. He's not proper one.
All right. Well, so this week we covered the first 3 episodes of something Love is War, and then we watched episode
Kaguya-Sama Love is War, the greatest.
Really shitty anime.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. Get out of here.
It was amazing.
No, you're drunk. Go home.
No.
Now,
You're
You
outvoted.
can tell right off the bat that Comfy really likes this show.
I don't know why. Holy
And they
shit.
hate it. They hate fun.
We don't
don't
hate
think he expected Dale to like it.
I did not. No.
I'm probably the odd vote out here because I do like a lot of the romantic comedies and stuff like that, and that's what this is. It's a slice of life romantic comedy, but it's so boring.
No.
It's
a wonderful show. You
okay.
can't change
So what it starts with in episode 1, and I will talk I enjoyed the intro. I thought it was pretty cool. It made me think of it made me almost think of like a James Bond intro in a weird way.
Mhm.
I've seen a few animes that make me think of like a James Bond intro, and it's like, okay, cool. Maybe not so much this one. I don't know. Now that I said it out loud, it's like, does it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I enjoyed the intro more than a lot of intros. But hey. So basically in the beginning, it introduces how they're at like some super elite prestigious school full of super elite prestigious people's
Children.
kids.
At the top of the elite are our student council members.
Yes. Who
Where we have the girl whose name I don't care to remember,
Kaguya.
who's the daughter of one of the top 4 conglomerates in Japan, with over 1,000 subsidiaries underneath them, so they're extremely rich.
Yeah, her family has the fuck you monies.
Yeah. So she's super rich, has like training in all these different things like classical music,
Right.
martial arts, yada yada yada. However, she is subservient in the student council to the student council president, which is our other main character, our Romeo, I guess you would call. He is actually a commoner. He doesn't come from a super rich family. He is at the school based on academic achievement.
And he's a really smart boy.
And he's the smartest person in the school.
And
By far.
the narrator goes above and beyond to explain to you that his like gold bar that looks brand new is passed down from generation to generation of class president, because who gives a fuck?
Yeah, he
That's
wears a
the
gold.
point.
He wears a gold bar as the symbol of being the class president.
God.
It's over 200 years old. It's
It's
just
so
like
just,
they're
like,
noting how they're
overdone.
building up how prestigious and like upscale this place is, and then the majority of this thing takes place in a single room.
Yep.
So
That is
basically,
quite accurate.
so basically, here's what I want you all to imagine. Okay, it is every single overdone cliche that an anime does with over dramatized reactions between anime characters that are just so far-fetched and out of place. And the only reason that the only reason that it is happening is because the 2 main characters are too proud to admit that they have feelings for each other, and they're trying to bait the other into initiating like a relationship, and it's fucking cringy and terrible.
So the 2 main characters both have feelings for each other. However, they view the world in the same way. They're super hyper competitive people, and they see that the person who gives first is the one who's going to be subservient in a relationship, because that's how they think relationships work. For those of us who are in long-term relationships, sorry, Comfy, we know it's not.
Wow. Listen, I was like sitting on the side of the road, and Copper threw me into the middle, tied me down, got in the car, and drove over me
Twice.
And then I backed up.
The bus wasn't even moving, and I still got run over.
God damn.
So, as everybody knows, that's not how relationships actually work. It's a give and take in relationships.
Apparently I don't know. Please explain to me.
Well, it's more that you weren't in a long-term relationship. So, that's not how relationships work, but how these people view it. So they're trying to maneuver to get the other person to admit that they like them first. They're pretty sure that the other person has feelings for them, but nobody wants to confess and go through the thing.
Yes.
A key note here is that Japan is extremely structured in terms of relationships with people and how you interact. And the higher up in society status you go, the more structure it becomes. Like, it's really rigid. So you're dealing with people who are at the top there. So there's super rigid constructs about how they're supposed to interact with people, which includes even what names you can call people, what honorifics you have to use, all this stuff. And even things like hand holding is a huge deal. So asking someone out is a massive, massive thing. So, and can be very embarrassing, as everybody has probably experienced in their life, because the other person can say no, right? And they don't want to go through rejection as well. So they're dealing with all these pressures, and they're trying to maneuver to get the other person to do it first so that they can, quote, win. And, they don't have to go through all the embarrassment of, what happens if they say no, which is something we see at one of the end of the episodes.
Yeah.
When she's talking with her maid. So there's this whole thing, and then the premise here of the war is them trying to maneuver and get this done, and they're doing it in super sneaky, intelligent ways. Though the rich girl tends to use money and other people to try to push things along. Like in the first episode, she arranges for free tickets to a movie to be delivered to the third member of the student council, who is the only likable character.
Absolutely, she is.
By the name of Chica, who's a airhead, and to quote another character, all of the nutrients in her body goes to her boobs, not her brain.
Yeah.
Theory.
Can we take a moment here? 1 second. I want to back up to the intro, because when I first saw the intro, I completely fucking forgot that Comfy described the premise of the show, and I was like, is this gonna be like the fucking Love Police or something? Because they're like, we have guns, pew pew, and I'm like, is this gonna be the Love Police? No, it's just boring.
Yeah,
Love Police would have been interesting though.
the weapons in the opening are basically a war reference, right? Everybody associates weaponry with war, so rather than a Cold War type of thing, which is kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's very much a Cold War, not an active thing.
Right.
But yeah, the first episode we have her sneak tickets to the third member, who thinks she's just won a contest because she's an idiot and doesn't realize, hey, I didn't enter a contest. But it's
hey, don't speak bad about her.
It's to a romance movie, and she can't go, which is how she arranged it. She arranged it so she can't go, and that it takes place on on the guy's few days, like few weekends. He actually has time off, and she's like, if I do this, she's a nice person, so she'll offer us the tickets, and this will make him misstep, and we'll go together, and it's a romance movie. And there's this whole superstition that if you go to a romance movie together with a person you like, you'll end up dating. So he kind of falls for it, starts to ask her to go with him, and then she's like, aha, I have the upper hand. He's like, shit, I've misstepped, I walked into a trap. And so then he turns it around and basically forces her to decide whether she wants to go with him or not.
So, like, also, if this relationship were to actually start, and I will never know because I won't watch any more of the show ever. If this relationship was to actually start, it was based on the premise of manipulation and like fucking tricking each other. So it's super unhealthy, and it's damned from the start.
The thing is, of how they get together is 100% based on these episodes going to be manipulative.
Yeah.
However, these two do actually have genuine feelings for each other.
Yeah,
so it
I know.
would actually kind of work out.
But like once they get into the actual relationship, why would they stop trying to manipulate each other?
The problem is going to be that fact that one of them is always going to be vying for dominance.
Yeah.
Right, because they don't view a relationship in a healthy way.
That's not how it works.
No, it's not. And now, mind you, these are teenagers, and teenagers, when it comes to romance, are kind of stupid. Most young people are.
Teenagers are stupid about a lot of things. It's not.
They are. But that's what I'm saying.
I was as a teenager. That's not me shitting on like new teenagers. I was a fucking moron.
Yeah, it's most people who are young are dumb.
Yeah.
We do dumb shit because we don't have experience to not do dumb shit.
Yep.
because we ignore people who have gone through experience with things. They're like,
that
just
advice
because it
is
happened to you doesn't
probably
mean it'll
stupid.
happen to me. That's not applicable. It's like
You, yeah.
90% of the time it's applicable to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the shit you learn when
Yeah.
you get older.
I have an 18-year-old sister, Tom. I know.
It's like, wow, if I had listened to you,
Hell,
I
she
wouldn't
might be
be
19
in this situation.
now. I don't know.
Shit. Like,
Yeah.
So it, you know,
It's an
and that's
entire
kind of what
time.
it is. Yeah. So it's kind of what we're looking at here. But the show is well animated. I'll give it that. The voice acting is good. I do like one of the characters. They're like, we basically see 3 characters. Like, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, they don't introduce you to the other. Well, I mean, you get the maid. She's a
Yeah, we do see the maid.
Yeah, you
She's
know,
a
does
good
she
character.
does have a couple lines, I suppose, in the 3 episodes we watched.
she
She
becomes a
probably
major
gets-
character.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say she probably gets built out like people like that we see.
Sure.
But I don't like the main 2 characters. I get the whole, you know, back and forth of, you know, the struggle. I understand the premise of the show, and I can see how it
Yeah.
appeals to some people. But
It's just too
We've already-
anime. It's just anime.
as we,
Anime.
yeah, for Dale, it's way too anime. For me, we've already gone through another show where we were always in one goddamn room, and it's just people kind of talking to each other.
Is that the
I
Fox
didn't
show?
Like that show either. That's the Fox show.
Yeah, that
I
was
did not
terrible.
like the
And-
Fox
No, they
show.
went to the grocery store. How dare you?
Oh, ooh. I'm sorry. These guys walked in the hallway at one point.
Oh, and then like all the people like, oh my god, it's the student council. Ooh, woo. Fuck off. Shut up.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Can I get a sound clip of Dale saying, "Oh my God, it's the student council"? Ooh woo. Thank you.
Yeah, we can just clip that out. To be fair, student councils in Japan are different from North America. It actually matters. If you're on
Okay.
a student council in Japan, it is actually a big deal. They actually have a lot of control within the environment of the school.
Mhm.
I've seen Food Wars.
It's not Food Wars. That's taking it to an extreme, but they do have a
There's no
bigger
way.
deal. It is a bigger
convince me.
role. So, you know, and it's the prestigious people dealing with like, ooh, these are some of the top people in this prestigious place. Like,
Mhm.
so, I mean, I get there's people this show appeals to. Comfy exists, and the show is well received. I believe the second season starts up like
At
next
4
anime
weeks.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah, in like
next
4
season.
weeks. So, it did well. Like, this show is well reviewed. People do
Mhm.
like it. It's just, and I can see why. It's just I didn't like it from a personal level. It's
I
not a
really
show I would sit
disliked
down and
it.
watch.
Did
And
did
Dale
enough
is just-
things
yeah.
even happen that we have to go through each
Not
episode?
really,
Like
like, it's,
nothing fucking happened.
Oh, that's the other thing. The show is 24 minutes long.
Nothing
including,
happens.
Nothing
deal making
happens.
stuff like that.
It's
But nothing really happens, and it's usually broken into like 2 parts. Like 2 things happen usually during an episode. So
Okay,
it's
there
like-
was one part that I actually, that was a nice shot, Tom. There was one part in this show that I genuinely laughed about, and that was the final episode when she was like, I totally did it and kissed my cousin. Like the little cousin, like she kissed the baby and they were talking about sex and she thought that was sex. And she was like, I've had sex. And the other two were like,
There
whoa,
was-
fuck, we haven't. Has she?
There
And
was
then,
a magazine that was talking about when you had your first time, and she definitely mistook what first time meant.
yeah, she thought she had like, because she had kissed her little baby nephew, like, you know, kissed on the forehead or whatever. She thought that was it. So then you get the scene where Chica's whispering in and like, I assume explaining how sex work. Her face is just like, oh my God. And I did
I
kind of
loved-
chuckle. I kind of laughed.
I love
I
the
thought
reaction that was like, it was like she doesn't understand. He's like, wait, I'll take care of this.
I thought that was funny. So like there was one part of the 3 episodes that I ddidn't think was terrible.
I'll take that as a
Um,
victory.
Don't.
For me, the best part of the 3 episodes.
Was the end credits for the
was,
final time?
No, I think it was
Okay.
episode 2 when they're doing the bento boxes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The octopus
it's-
weenies. I might have chuckled
It's
a
the
little bit.
whole, yeah, like there's octopus weenies and stuff like that. But
The parts that I did
found,
chuckle at were because of Chica. I will admit.
Yeah, for me, it
Dude,
was
chaos
it was the
theory.
interaction of Chica with the girl,
Yeah.
where the girl's getting like insanely jealous and mad at Chica because she's like sharing the guy's
Yeah,
lunch. 'cause
moral of the
she's-
story, the rich bitch is like, "Oh, what the fuck? I don't get hot dogs ever. That looks good. I
'cause-
want to eat normal food. Meanwhile, she's like, my chef's prepared a 5-star meal for my lunches every day, and I want to eat normal food.
I will let you in on a industry secret. I fucking hate Kaguya until the last 2 episodes.
Is that the main
That's
girl's
the
name?
guy.
That's the main character, the
Yeah.
girl.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's her interaction with Chica there is what I found the best of these 3 episodes, where she gets insanely jealous, and it's like you inhuman thing, you like, she just gets madder and madder and madder at her, because she's just like, hey, can I have some of that? Like, she's doing everything that she wants to do, but because she's an airhead and doesn't care about this,
She's not thinking about the implications of anything she's saying.
like, she has no care about the implications. So, like, she's like, I don't care about this. Like, this stuff that she's preoccupied with doesn't matter to her.
Right.
So she's getting to do all the things that she wants to do, and she's like, I'm going to kill you. Like, that was the best part to me. But the first episode fell pretty flat. Like, I was super bored through the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, for the most part, bored me, and the third one, same kind of thing. Like, it's just not a show for me. I'd say give it a try, though. Like, if you do like romantic comedies and you do like anime and you don't mind the anime tropes and stuff like that, give it a shot. Like, at least for a couple episodes, you might enjoy it. Like, it might hook you in. As I said, it's well received. It's not poorly written. The animation is good. The voice acting is good.
Yeah.
It's just not my type of show.
It's just
the worst part is the characters as they are, like, at the beginning, because believe it or not, there is character development.
Yeah, and there's going to be character development. That's something to keep in mind, which we're not going to see in 3 episodes.
Absolutely. It doesn't start until later on, but that's when the show actually got good.
Yeah, and I imagine the second season will be better because they've already gone through the character development, so you just kind of build from there. Things.
All of the characters are likable at the end of the first season, so.
Yeah. The thing that I just absolutely hate about the show, and why I don't recommend it, is because, like, it does everything that an anime does without anything that makes me give a shit. Where it's like something that interests me as somebody who doesn't like anime. Does nothing.
Well, they have a big tittied, pink haired anime girl.
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, I was able to get copper at least a little bit with that one, so.
I mean, I'm always up for, big titty anime girls. That's
I know. It's like
perfectly fine.
It's like, as long as it's in the deck, I win.
Well, as I said, I don't like the show, so you didn't actually win, but I'll take her.
Yeah, that's a win in my book.
There you go. So, like, it sounds like we might have
do, like, perverted, nasty things to her like Addison would, but yeah, I'll take her still.
So do we?
Not gonna put her on a body pillow and then do questionable things?
No, I'm not you. Come on now.
So that's definitely Comfy clearly recommends this. This is like one of his favorite shows. What do you think,
Not
Copper?
one of my favorite shows, but I do very much enjoy it.
Oh, you always speak very highly
this is
of
a
it.
show that I know Comfy enjoys. This is a show I know a lot of people do like quite a bit. And it did spawn a very popular meme.
Which one?
Dude, the Chica meme, the
Chica meme.
What?
There's a couple memes from Chica.
That episode is one of my favorite episodes of any show because it's so stupid. There's an episode where Chica has to teach the student council president how to play volleyball.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm great at sports. I'll be fine. And she's like, yep, I believe in you. And then she's like, all right, catch it. And he like just misses. And she's like, and then he can't like serve or anything. And it just gets progressive lines of like her shaking violently and going,
Okay.
And it's great.
All right.
And then there was also
sounds
her
wonderful.
saying, I raised that boy.
There's a couple memes. Okay. Thanks, Jerry.
There's a few.
All right. But what we also had discussed or watched episode 8 of In-Spectre, Comfy with the Japanese name.
Kyoko Sueri.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but so would you recommend this show, Copper? Actually, sorry, I would not. I just liked it.
For that show, I'd recommend people give it a shot, but personally, it's not for me.
Okay, so that's like a 1.5 star review. Okay, because that's I guess the thing we're doing. Possible 3 stars. Who knows? Or is it 2.5 stars? I don't know. Either way, we can discuss that. We don't need to.
2.5 weebs.
I guess it fits. It's on brand. But so yeah. Anyway, episode 8 of In-Spectre. A lot of more just chit chat. You learn more about dude's cousin and how she didn't actually die, and how
She can see the future.
Yeah, she's basically the same as the main character, where she dies
Yeah,
and sees the future.
she's exactly the same. She has the same abilities.
Yeah.
She's
Why does she look all fucking like super dead
Sickly?
though? Like she's really
know.
sickly looking. Like you can see her ribs like in her
She's
chest.
really
and-
thin and she's
'Cause-
very pale.
there is a chance she always looked like she looked like that as a kid, right? Like he looked. If
I
you remember
suppose.
how he looked as a kid, he looked healthy.
Mhm.
So if she was sickly as a child
Sure.
and looked that way, it would just keep her in the same.
Do you think
thing,
it's
right?
possible that maybe she ate more of the Kudan than the mermaid, and like the Kudan is slowly winning?
Maybe they have mentioned that the reason he aged, our main guy, aged in the first place, is because he ate both. Right, so she ate more Kudan than mermaid.
Nice shot.
Then, in that regard, she might be dying, like killing herself slowly every time she chooses the future.
Maybe.
So it's hard to say, or it could just be that she's just one of those people who looks sickly, because there are people who are super skinny and stuff
Mhm.
like that, right? Like
She
that
was
is a thing.
also
So
in the hospital for an extended period of time.
yes,
I
it could be that she's not eating and is like, she's like, well, I don't need to eat because if I die, I just come back. Like,
That's true.
Yeah.
like she could be obsessive about whatever she's doing and just kind of not taking care of herself. Because, I mean,
Listen,
they can do
according to
harm to
the
themselves.
Drifter-
It's just they come back, right? So
according to the Drifter, the worst pain ever is starving to death and then coming back to life and still being hungry.
Yeah, that's probably really rough.
Yeah.
it would be rough. Yeah,
Um,
not that I would trust him with anything.
that's true.
I mean, I believe in the Drifter.
'Kay.
It's a lie, but
So like just a lot of chit chatting, and I think they kind of plan.
they kind of explained that she was the cousin was the person who built up Steel Lady Nanase and used her super spacey see the future powers to do so and accelerate the process because she could pick and choose whichever future she wanted.
Right. So she like what they're trying to do is they're just trying to get close enough to the reality that dude can grab that strand of reality and make it happen. And that's exactly what she did to create Steel Lady Nanase.
Yes.
Um,
The issue being that Nanase already exists, and they're trying to undo what she's done.
right.
But
Well,
she at the same time is able to thwart them because she can just
mhm.
then go and pick a future where it doesn't matter what they've done,
Yeah.
type of thing, right?
So it's gonna be a time, and yeah.
It's an entire mood.
You also learn that the cousin lived with, what's her name? Something Gawa, the blonde future lady, or not the blonde future lady, the ghost speaker.
The god.
Yeah, something. What's her name?
That one. Inagawa?
Yeah, I see. I tried.
that it?
I tried. I had the last syllable.
I think.
I had a
That just
Gawa.
sounds
That
right
was
to me.
important. But like her family is super rich. I think that might have been mentioned before. You don't really talk about it a whole lot, but her super rich family let her live with them for a while.
Yeah. And then it was like, oh, did she like hate you or something? He was like, no. She actually felt really bad for me. So we became really good friends and hung out all the time.
But then eventually she left and became evil and did mean things and created a monster.
Yeah. Then you go and just make a monster, because why not make a ghost?
I mean, if you're
Make a ghost.
testing your abilities, that's not a bad way to go about it.
I
mean,
guess.
try to take something that's completely nonsensical and make it a thing, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
So,
And so basically the episode is a lot of just discussing why she did it and how she did it. And then they come up with the plan, which is, well, obviously, all I have to do is go on this forum and tell everybody that ghosts aren't real.
Yeah.
So that'll
yeah,
work.
I mean, that's kind of the first step in breaking it down. Like, you have to assert ghosts aren't real and then show how they're not real. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
So they end up
it's,
at the end. They're showing up at this park in a car, and basically the plan is Kabuto boy. Is that not? It's not Kabuto. What is the thing?
Kuro.
Yeah, that.
Kabutops is a Pokemon.
Anyway, he is like
And so is
approaching
Kabuto.
Steel Lady Nanase, who is on top of stairs, and it's like very like anime walking up the stairs, and then to be continued. So like
Another
next,
kind of meh
Yeah,
episode.
another building up episode.
yep. So next
Man.
week they're gonna
Which we
he's
were
gonna
hoping
fight
it wasn't
Steel Lady
gonna be.
Nanase, and they're
really
gonna
hoping it wasn't gonna be.
yeah
We're
gonna
week to week is rough.
yeah.
This show is there's like
I'm
build up, small payoff, build up, small payoff.
I'm not
and it's like,
disliking it at all though. Like I think it's fine. Like I don't dislike it.
I
It's not
don't
a
dislike it,
bad
but
The
I
story's-
don't like it either.
Yeah, the story's interesting, but like it is very slow moving.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, I
what's
feel
here.
like
If we
I-
could
I
binge
f-
watch this, I think it would be different. But
I feel like if they put this out as like a movie and cut it differently, it would
Oh.
work a bit better than a drawn
yeah,
out
I
show.
think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot like that I could just kind of cut through as an editor and go, hey, don't need this, I can
Mhm.
shorten this, like a lot of
Yep.
that shit, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and if that's the case with your show, then your show is paced wrong, right? It's the same way as any TV show. If you can go look at it and go, I can edit this so it's half this length, then you know it's paced incorrectly,
Yeah.
right? It's
I'm
the
with you.
same way like for the Star Wars prequels. Like someone went through and re-edited them, cut out time because there's a bunch of shit in there that doesn't need to be in there,
Mhm.
and they're much more enjoyable because they were edited down.
Same thing with The Hobbit, which I think is a better, more extreme
What
example.
did you say, Copper? Same thing with what?
No, that wasn't me. That was Comfy who said that. Same thing with The Hobbit. He said,
I-
Yeah.
the
Somebody
Hobbit
took
movies
all 3 Hobbit movies, which should have been one movie.
Yeah.
stuck them together and edited it.
I thought you could have
They
said.
cut
I
out-
could have swore you said something else too, Copper. Okay, sorry.
No, I said the prequel movies.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Like one of the biggest changes they made was Jar Jar. They took Jar Jar
Oh
out
God,
as much
please
as possible
no. Yeah.
because he doesn't serve a purpose.
No, he doesn't.
Except when he's then, and they edit it so that he doesn't speak in that voice that he has in the actual movies.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, they replaced all of his dialogue with alien noise, like an alien language, and have dub.
There you go.
And he's much better because he doesn't come off as a racist stereotype character. He's not in any places where he doesn't need to be for quote comic relief. No one needs that here.
Mm-mm.
And the whole movie, like the movies are better for it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just as Comfy said, the Hobbit movie as well. They took this massively long
Yeah.
movie that shouldn't have been 3 movies, especially when they cut shit out,
Mhm.
right? And added a bunch of stuff in that doesn't need to be there,
They
and edited it
completely
down.
cut out Legolas's love triangle bullshit.
Yep.
Like all of that is gone. I don't think Orlando Bloom's in the recut.
Yeah,
at
he
all.
shouldn't be. He shouldn't
No,
be
he
there.
shouldn't. Listen, I read The Hobbit. I loved The Hobbit. It doesn't need 3 movies. I thought the
No,
first movie was fantastic.
He shouldn't be there. The whole Radagast thing shouldn't be there. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that is from other stories that were shoehorned into this so they could lengthen it to fill out, more movies.
Yeah. And they didn't need to because it's The Hobbit.
Yeah, it's such a good movie already. You don't need it's a good story. You do not need to fuck with it.
No. But money. They need to make more money to sell more
Yeah,
tickets.
they wanted to
'cause
make
there's
more money. They're
3
like,
more,
well, how
2
can we?
more movies.
She's like, why can't we get this as a trilogy? Like, because it's a single book, unlike the Lord of the Rings, which is
3
books, which are so big you cut shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Hey, is what it is.
it even cut shit that was important. Like that. Yeah. Like they completely removed the end of the 3rd book. Like no lie. Like
Yeah.
the end of the 3rd book.
Okay, the
is
ending of
not
the
in
3rd
movies.
movie is already too fucking long. So, like, hey.
That's because they extended that bit because it's not supposed to be
Oh,
that
did
long.
they extend the part that's stupid and cut out good stuff?
Yeah, well, they're
Okay.
like, oh, here's all the celebrations and here them getting knighted. That's not that long in the books. And
Yeah,
there's
don't-
another part after that in the books.
Don't the hobbits have to retake the Shire and their heroes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard
the
about
whole
that.
scouring of the Shire, which is a few is chapters long. They cut out like the
Yep.
whole it's an important bit, and they're like, eh. Like what the fuck? Like so, this is why I say like you can if your thing can be looked at and objectively go, this can be edited so it is better than it is paced incorrectly.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel this show is. It's as Dale said, it's not bad, but I'm not enjoying it because I don't like the pacing. The pacing
I mean,
is
I would
killing this
rather
show for
I
me.
would rather not super enjoy something than hate it. So like I'm content.
I don't hate this show.
Don't care.
That's the thing. It's not a bad show.
No.
Like don't like it's not a bad show, but the pacing is killing my enjoyment of this show. It's
Yeah. Like I said before, if we could just binge it, I think I would feel a little bit better about it. I don't know if you guys would, but
yeah, I think if I could binge this, it would be a bit better. It's it's the weekly release of this where you get these slow episodes and you're like, they're not bad episodes. There's some really good information in them. It's really good for world building and character building. But then you have to wait a week for a payoff, right? And it's like, or more often than this show's case, because they go slow week, then payoff. You're waiting 2 weeks until some actual little bit of action happens, and that's not kind of how they sold you on this show because of the first episode. So
yeah.
it's like, here's a little bait and switch, like here's the hook, and it's like, okay, well I need more of the hook because you're losing me. Like,
Just give me something.
yeah,
100%.
Like not a 1v3.
I think at the end of this
believe in you.
show, it's going to be a recommend to binge,
Not to watch week to week.
not to watch a little bit here, a little bit there. It's going to be like sit down, binge this show over a day or two, over a weekend, and you'll enjoy it.
Is there-
Other than that, it's going to be
definitely-
harder.
There's definitely some shows that I've seen that are like like it's better to watch it slower and more paced out.
Yeah.
For example, Erased, which was a like
Yes.
murder mystery kind of show. It's
Super
so good if you binge it, but if you pace it out, it like I watched it week to week and it gave you more time to think.
Yeah, it gives you more time to think and reflect on the episodes because it's a very, like in that case of that show, it's very packed. Like it's very emotional, so you kind of have to work through like what you've seen and how things are going and things like that. So
Yeah, and it's
for
a
shows
heavy
like
show,
that,
too.
yeah,
So
it's a very heavy show. So in those cases, yeah, it's taking your time to go through it a little slower. You'll probably enjoy it more, right? Some shows, as we know, are literally designed to be binge watched, and I think this feels like one of them.
yeah.
But that's not a bad thing nowadays. Like if it was say 5-7 years ago, sure, designing a show to be binge watched, probably a bad idea for your show being well received.
Well,
Nowadays,
Copper, you just binged all of Altered Carbon season 2
I
this
did.
week.
I watched like 8 hours of Altered Carbon in like one go.
I did as well. I tell you right now, that was a good show to have binged and not have watched week to week.
Now, if it came out week to week, I still would have loved this show. Like
Still a good show.
100%. But
Don't get me
being able to binge watch that and get the payoff sooner,
Mhm.
it would just build up, and it's like, here's the payoff, and like that was worth these like 6 hours of build up. This was awesome, and I'm super curious where season 3 is going to go. So
Well,
I'm
I have-
kind
I
of
have-
sad. I'm
I-
probably gonna have to wait like a year and a half, but
I have a couple like questions about that and like what season 3 is gonna really be, because it could be a lot of different things.
Now I haven't seen this yet, and I definitely
that's
want
why
to
I'm-
watch it.
that's why we're.
Yeah,
I know you haven't, which is why I'm avoiding anything about
me
the
and Kaylee,
thing.
me and Kaylee will be watching that together. We definitely both
Yeah.
enjoyed Altered Carbon. So yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Me saying that the season's great and that there's a great payoff is not a spoiler. It tells you it's worth watching.
Yeah.
They did a lot of really cool things I didn't think they were gonna do. Not because I've read the books or whatever, and I know what's gonna happen. I haven't.
Yeah.
But just,
So
there was a lot of interesting stuff that when they did it, I was like, oh, I didn't think they were gonna do that. Okay,
if
that's cool.
you have read the book series, the show follows along the book series somewhat. but it changes a bunch
Is
of
there
stuff too.
is Altered Carbon a
Mhm.
book? Okay, I didn't know.
It
that.
is a book. It's a book series. There's
Yes.
Of course it is.
3 or 4 of them. So the first book matches the first season. Okay, for the most part, there are some
Mhm.
differences between the two. Same thing for the second season. So the third season, I have an idea of what they're going to do because they have been following the books.
Mhm.
I just don't know if they're going to end it there or if they're going to keep going afterwards.
They built enough of their own world. They can probably keep going.
Probably can, and I'd be kind of happy to keep following other characters.
Mhm.
So like, because
I
this is an
also-
interesting, like the world is very, very interesting that they built up where humans are
Mhm.
functionally immortal. You know,
Mhm.
It's
You know,
cyberpunk.
us-
It is
Assuming
cyberpunk
you
to the
have money.
extreme.
Assuming you have money,
Yeah.
because if you don't have
Assu-
money, you die.
well, there's
Well,
the
if you
thing.
don't have money, you can go on ice or wait.
Everybody
for
is
any,
functionally
sleep.
immortal, except for the fact that if you keep switching sleeves too often to bodies that are not a copy of your original body
Mhm.
or the body that you grew up in, because if you say died as a baby and they resleeved you, you wouldn't know. So if you keep switching sleeves to a body where your brain hasn't adjusted to that body throughout its life,
Mhm.
or for the first bit of your life, your mind will start to fragment.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
So the way the super rich people avoid this is that
They
they
have
can afford to
clones
clone
then.
themselves.
Yeah.
So because they can clone themselves, they can just keep resleeving themselves over and over and over again. Poor people can't do that. So even though they are functionally immortal, their minds are immortal 100% unless the stack is destroyed. Everybody is immortal. If you keep resleeving them, they will go insane.
Did they mention that in the first season, or is that something you?
Yes,
Okay,
they
I
did
don't
mention that in
remember
the first
exactly.
season. As soon as he comes out of the tank,
that sounds
it's a
kind
whole-
of familiar, but I
it's a
don't
whole
remember.
thing, and it's part of the reason they fought they were fighting the rebellion war in the first place
Uh-huh.
is because they didn't want what ended up being called mess, the super rich people,
Right.
method being short for Methuselah,
Sure.
to control as much of society through eternal wealth because they're eternally around,
Shit.
as they do, right? Because if you're imagine Jeff Bezos is immortal and just
Please
keeps
no.
getting richer,
Please
right?
no.
Like,
Make it stop.
and
The nightmare end.
they start owning everything, and there's a government that they deal with, but when you become that rich, it's not hard to say subvert the government through just paying people off, right? And paying them not to tell the police or paying off the police, like all that corruption stuff we normally get now, except now you're dealing with someone who can go, if you do what I want, I'll give you so much money that you can, re-sleeve yourself 4 or 5 times in a clone and live for another 500 years.
Yep.
Like, so yeah, like that's the world they're dealing with, and it's extremely interesting from a political standpoint, from a social standpoint, from technology that that there's there. We know there's aliens because that's where this technology kind of comes from.
Yeah.
So, but they've never actually met them. They've just kind of found their relics of this species.
Yeah, the
so it's
elders.
like where they call them elders. Like, where are they at? What they look like? All this like unanswered questions. It's a super extremely interesting universe, and throughout it, we're dealing with a guy who is functionally a psychopath.
Which one?
Yes.
Talk is basically a psychopath, our main character who we follow
yeah.
around, and
A little bit.
rather than investigating all this big giant stuff, we learn about it through bits and pieces as he interacts with stuff. It's a very personal story. Like, he's trying to like in the first season, I'm trying to solve a murder, so
Well, it's
I
a
can
lot
go
of
free.
it's
right?
a lot of him against himself,
Yeah, because he's not a good person. He has a lot of baggage, a lot of emotional damage, which is something to mention in like the first season. A lot of people do. Like, when you live for 200 years or 300 years, shit goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
During your lifespan. Like, imagine how bad it gets in that case. Like, one of the first things you see in the first season is all these people being re-sleeved, and one of them is, it looks like this, lady who's in her like mid 40s or early 50s. Turns out she's like an 8-year-old girl. right? Who was
Because that
murdered.
was the only sleeve they had left.
And that was a free, and she's allowed to have a free sleeve because she's a murder victim. That's what the law says, but it's a free sleeve from the sleeves that are just kind of lying around, and there was no child sleeves, so they're like, this
Oh,
is
was
the
that-
free females. Yeah, this is like the
Was that the one that they ended up? At the
that,
end?
that happens in the prison. It's literally episode 1. Within like the first like 20 minutes, you see this girl.
Yeah, and like
Oh,
Alcatraz.
she didn't end up as the main character later in the
No,
thing.
it's just-
Okay,
she's
okay.
just
It
a
was
That's
background
really just
character.
flavor.
Okay, I
Yeah,
guess
it was just like it was helping to set the tone. It's like,
okay.
here's this little girl who was murdered, which is awful, and they're like, well, her stack wasn't destroyed, so she, we're gonna put her in a new body. Except the only body we have is this 45-year-old woman body, and she's an 8-year-old girl in this body now.
Yeah.
And the body has all the functions and hormones of a 45-year-old woman,
Jesus Christ.
and she's 8.
Goddamn.
And that's the world they're living in,
Yeah.
right? That's the shit they have to deal with.
Some fucked up shit.
So
Yeah.
I really like the cyberpunk dystopian futures.
Welcome to the carbon or altered carbon podcast. But yeah,
Altered
but yeah,
podcast?
if you haven't watched that show,
it's good.
give it a
Good
try.
show.
It's
Definitely
a really
good show. I like it.
Especially if you
Very well
like
done.
sci-fi, you're probably gonna love this show.
Mhm.
But it's not happy Star Trek sci-fi for sure.
No.
It is dystopian sci-fi.
Yep.
Which I always think is more entertaining.
Yeah.
It usually is. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm hearing Picard is pretty good, so I'm
Never
curious
heard of
to take a peek at that. Picard.
Oh,
As in Captain
Picard. I thought you
Picard?
said Brickard. I was like, what's
No.
Brickard? Okay. But yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
No,
Yeah.
listen,
just a little
Dale, I'm on the same page as you. I thought he said something completely different.
Okay,
bit.
all right. Cool.
The only other thing I've been watching is Love is Blind. Just because I keep hearing people talk about how awful it is, yet so hard not to keep watching. It's like a
Uh-huh.
What-
car wreck in like slow motion. They're correct. Oh fuck, are they ever?
What
And now
is
I'm just
it?
kind of Love is Blind is a show on Netflix. It is 100% reality trash television. Okay.
Okay.
So what they did is they took, I think it's like 12 guys and 12 women. Anyways, this group of guys, group of women. Each of them is looking to get married, and they are separated from each other into 2 groups. Right, it's man on one side, women on the other. The only place they can interact are these things they call pods, which are enclosed soundproof rooms, except for one wall, which is not soundproof, and you can actually clearly hear each other talking back and forth, but you can't see anything.
Mhm.
So, what the first few episodes are for are basically they take place over like days and days. They go on dates, like blind dates in these pods with each other,
Mhm.
and then try to form relationships. And the point is to, within like a week or 2, is to meet someone in these pods that you fall in love with and ask to marry you without sight unseen. And then if you do that, you get engaged, then you can meet the other person. They then send them on a vacation to Mexico for like, a week. Then they're sent back to, I think it's Austin they're staying in. Everybody's given an apartment to live in with their now fiance, while they deal with like real world things like social media, which they've been cut off from. Family, like introducing this person to your family because your family doesn't realize that you've now become engaged, introducing to your friends, as well as planning your wedding, which takes place in 4 weeks' time, and then going and following them to the weddings and seeing who actually says "I do," right? And then
Sounds like it.
come
I hate
March
reality
5th,
TV. Oh
so
God.
come this coming week, there is going to be a recap episode because this was filmed like over a year ago, and then just released recently. So people have been together who might not be together anymore. People may have hooked up with somebody else, stuff like that kind of thing.
What a time to be alive. Trash reality TV.
Yeah, it's bizarre as shit because it's like, I'm going to propose to this person after knowing them for 6 days and never having seen them. So I don't know what they
Kaylee
look
was
like.
watching 90 Day Fiance, and I'm just like, oh my God, please no, please stop this.
Now, in opposition to like 90 Day Fiance, it's not people who've been dating for months,
Hmm?
right? Or known each other for longer or spent thousands, tens of thousands, or $100,000 on trying to get this person from another country to move over, who might only be doing that for a green card, which is often assumed with 90 Day Fiance. The show basically pays for everything in this case. So nobody's out money. Nobody knows what they look like. Like, there's one couple where she didn't know what race he was when they started talking to each other, because she didn't bother to ask, and neither did he. And nobody bothered to mention it. And not to be offensive to Americans, but interracial dating in your country can be
questionable.
That's
Yeah,
only just
depending on
like
where you live.
some
If you
people,
live
but
anywhere
they're
that's
terrible.
not
There
like a major
There are
city, it
some
can be not
shitty
great.
racists in your country who
Yeah,
are like, you
you're
can't
right.
date people who's not of your own race, and it's not just a white person thing. There's other races that do it too.
That's
So-
stupid.
It's a thing. It's
It's
insanely
dumb.
stupid. It
I don't
doesn't really
care.
pop up here in the north. It does some cases. There are some racism issues. Nova
Mhm.
Scotia has a bad history for it. In particular, the province I live in, which is sad. If anybody wants to look into it, Google Africville. Horrifying.
Well,
Um,
well, that's not fun.
no, it's not. Especially since we were one of the places, by places I mean like Nova Scotia was one of the places where people who came up from the Underground Railroad settled, and it's just ugh. So
That's fun.
but yeah, it's so there's all these political and social issues that when they're in the pods they don't really talk about. Like, they don't talk about politics, which is a big issue in your country, because there's some people who won't date people if they're a Republican or if they're a Democrat, which is insane. They don't talk about race, which can be a big deal. They don't talk about religion, which can be a big deal. There's all these things you would normally know about and talk about with someone before you get married that they don't have the time to do. So it's kind of watching, as I said, it's watching a car wreck in slow motion, because once they get back to the real world and their families are around, friends are around, social media's around, you can just kind of see it kind of crash hit on them. They're like, oh shit, we didn't talk about this shit. And we're getting married in 2 weeks. And it's just, oof. It is an entertaining watch in a weird way.
You're not watching it because it's quality content.
No, it is not quality content.
Not at all.
I would even call it good content, but it's like if you see a disaster happen, you're like, what's going to happen next? And you don't turn away, even though you know it's horrifying to watch that. So it's one of those shows. As I said, it's 100% trash TV, but it's well done trash TV. I'm pretty sure they're already set up for a season 2.
God damn it.
I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts where they talk about, and I have no interest in trash TV. I just hate it. Will never watch.
Mhm.
But they talk about watching 90 Day Fiance and
Yep.
Love Island and stuff, and I'm just I don't get it.
I told Kevin and Ben to put Paul on the next season if they can.
God damn it.
And yeah, I saw that. I saw that, and Paul said, "Do I have to?"
Yeah, Kevin said yes, it's for work, it's mandatory.
Mhm.
And then he told me to stop giving the guys bad ideas for bad things for him to do.
Mhm.
Oh no.
And I'm
So-
like, no.
Do we have ideas for what we want to cover next week?
Well, we still have a list of things. So,
Yes, we mentioned the list last week. Do you just want to pick something off of?
well,
that
we've only got
particular
down to,
list?
we've down to 3 choices: the O Maidens, Carol and Tuesday, and Babylon. Out of those 3, I think the best show is probably Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say we should probably take a look at that one.
Babylon.
Do we know where
What's
we can
Babylon
watch
around? What-
Babylon?
Hold on, let me grab that thing for you.
and what is it about?
That's what I'm going to grab for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if this is on, because I have access to different things you guys do for viewing things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really look them up in here. So it's just called Babylon. That's the title. I don't see a Japanese one that's not in actual Japanese kanji either. So just type in Babylon, see if it comes up for like Crunchyroll and stuff. So its synopsis is in a newly formed Shinkiki, Japanese. So in a newly formed district of Tokyo, Zen is a diligent public prosecutor at the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office, assigned to a case involving false advertisement. Zen, which is his name, along with his assistant officer, Fumio, investigate Japan Supri, a pharmaceutical company that had provided fabricated clinical research on the company's new drug. So they made up shit. While investigating the file of Shin Inaba, anesthesiologist connected to the crime, the case takes a dark turn when Zen finds a page stained with a mixture of blood, hair, and skin, along with the letter F scribbled all across the sheet. As he investigates further, the case goes beyond Zen's imagination and becomes vastly complex, challenging his sense of justice and his knowledge of the truth. Digging deeper into the investigation, he begins to uncover a concealed plot behind the ongoing mayoral election and ties to many people of interest involved in the election and those closer than he thinks. Case grows more severe and propels Zen into an unforeseen hurricane of corruption, deceit behind the election, the establishment of the district, and the mysterious woman associated with it all. So it's very much a crime thriller mystery.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That I have a feeling is going to be better paced than our other show.
Probably because it's like rated super highly and it won a bunch of awards and stuff. If I had to guess.
Yeah, it is. As you remember, our list comes from the Anime Awards, so the show is very well received. He was up for a number of awards, and should be pretty interesting. But I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll or anything.
Let me check.
Because I have that. I don't have that on my PC. I have that on like the PlayStation. So.
Yeah, I'm down to watch whatever.
I don't see
care.
it. Unfortunately, the only thing I see when I search Babylon is Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't think we're watching that. What? Where is it?
So what was... are we thinking we're going to cover Babylon, or are we talking about...
It might be on Amazon, actually.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, is Babylon on
Yeah,
Amazon? Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay. The last Amazon show we watched was pretty good, so we'll watch it.
Yeah, Amazon so far we're batting 100 with. So
Now we're about to drop it to 50%. Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, well, if we wanted that, we'd be looking at Killing Bites.
The fuck is that?
It's another show on Amazon.
Is it terrible?
It has a 4 out of 5 stars on Amazon.
That's okay. All right. No. Oh God. Cherry says no.
Cherry, stop.
What show is this?
It's called Killing Bites. It's about a fight club type thing where these people try to kill each other. Cherry,
With their teeth.
Is it a bite club?
There is
God damn
biting
it.
involved in the fight club. Shh, Cherry, stop.
Oh, it's a furry club. Okay. All right.
There are animal people.
All right. So next week we're covering Babylon.
There are
100%.
animal people in this thing.
We'll never watch Killing Bite ever. Or maybe we will. I don't know. I won't kink shame. But yeah. So yeah, we'll cover.
It might be up Dave's alley, but
We'll cover Babylon for sure. I'm down.
I mean, Cherry obviously have seen it, so we know he enjoys it.
Now, I know me and Copper are super excited for the Division 2 DLC. Comfy's going to be playing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So is Shark.
Yes, and Shark's going to be playing it. And then we also have Trials of Osiris definitely coming back in a couple weeks
Trials
for
is
D2,
back.
which I'm excited
D2
about.
is out on the 10th.
Yep.
Trials come back on the 13th.
Because it's a Friday. Do you think they'll do
Friday the
Monday?
It's coming out Friday the 13th. They've already said that's the date, which should be interesting because we've heard nothing about their anti-cheat system. We just heard that there's one in place.
We know that they've mentioned that they're going to be talking about it more and what they're going to be doing.
I'm expecting a giant shit show on Friday.
We'll see. It might happen.
Friday the 13th, I'm expecting a shit show because
I'm really tired of people saying there's not going to be any content when Trials is actually just free to play.
Yeah, it is. Trials is free to play.
It's not
for those
even
who are wondering.
seasonal content.
It's not part of the season. It's just a permanent add to the game, which it had to be.
Exactly. Absolutely.
and-
there's no other way.
There, if you are caught cheating and banned, you can't just create a new account and jump right back into trials. That is not a thing you're able to do.
How much
Yeah,
is it? How much of a time investment
We
is it
don't
going
know.
to be?
We don't
need
know
to-
yet. We
don't
know,
know.
there's going
We
to
know
be a
there is
quest
one.
you need to complete. We believe it's a
Yeah.
triumph that you're going to have to
Yeah.
complete.
Maybe.
So we know there is one because Damage has told us so.
Hmm.
I also feel
also
that
know that
had they not
card-based.
disabled the artifact, if power level still mattered in trials, which it doesn't anymore.
It does. Power
It's
level
just
does
not the
matter in
artifact.
trials.
Just not the artifact.
But
Artifact
not the
power level
artifact.
does not
Right.
if
matter.
they hadn't disabled the artifact, I think cheaters would have been at a much more bigger disadvantage.
That's
because
true. That is true.
Yes, but the
Steve-
problem is that so is everyone else who doesn't want to go run in a lost
Eh.
sector on the moon for 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
True, but those people don't tend to be PvP players in the first place. Now, some PvP players who have all the time in the world are going to do that. Sure,
Mhm.
there's not that many of them.
Well, now they won't because
honest-
there's no reason because the
No,
artifact
now
power
they
won't
won't.
matter.
Now,
So
see, my problem with disabling the artifact power, which I think should be enabled, I think it should be enabled for every in-game activity because that's the point of it.
yeah, but it's also it's
It
competitive.
ruins
It's the point of it.
competitive
The
PvP
problem-
when it's
The
uncapped.
problem with the artifact thing is that it promotes unfun ways to boost your artifact level by grinding things
Mhm.
for it. Now, is there a fix to that? Sure. Change how the artifact gains experience. That's the fix for it. It being in for in-game activity to make in-game activities like so you can grind up and make them easier to grind through to do things.
Mhm.
That's kind of the point. Like that's the point of the endless progression. If you're going to disable endless progression in things like Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, it doesn't serve as much of a point anymore.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
it absolutely still does. There is still a power creep, and there's still a lot of
power
reasons to build up your
is-
power beyond.
Not if you're not playing endgame PvE activities. There isn't.
Mhm. But there will
Well,
be endgame PvE activities.
Yes, but I'm saying that if
Well,
you're a
if
PvP player,
if the
right?
artifact power exists in trials, then all you're going to be doing is non-endgame PvE activity, anyways. If you want to play
Yes,
trials,
but that's
at
not-
all.
That's not something I blame on the players. If they want to do that to gain the advantage in PvP, go right ahead. That's a problem Bungie has to address themselves and how the fact of how they've set up the artifacts to gain experience.
Yes,
the
but
That's fine. It is a problem. The artifact experience is stupid right now. I got more experience sitting at a post, clicking
Yes, that's
randomly.
dumb. It shouldn't
than
be
I
getting
did
experience
playing
from
the
that.
game.
Like it shouldn't. Artifacts should gain experience from doing activities where you gain a set amount of experience for doing an activity, like a strike. They've already talked about strikes needing something to push people into them a bit more. Make that one of the ways you level up your artifact, right? Don't tie it to actual XP gains, right? That you get for things like engrams and stuff like that. Don't tie it to that. Don't tie it to like the same XP that we get for leveling up our battle pass thing. Tie it to doing activities instead. That way you actually have to sit and go, if I want to level this up, I've got to do X number of strikes or X number of PvP things. Like actually playing the game rather than sitting in a lost sector turning in bounties or sitting at a post turning in fractalite. Right?
I don't know.
Do
agree with
something
you.
like that.
I
It's not a
still
hard
think
thing.
that artifact power is the dumbest thing to have in a competitive PvP situation.
I'm with you. I feel like if they were just to
I don't.
disable power level
don't.
entirely in trials, I'd be fine with it. I'm glad they are
No.
getting rid of the artifact power.
Power
Um,
levels always mattered in trials because it is endgame.
Yeah,
right?
but
But
does
so
it
with
need
the artifact
to be?
power not existing in this, it actually gives you a reason to go for pinnacle gear because
true.
that reason doesn't currently
Yeah.
exist.
Right.
There is
Yeah,
no
we don't have
drive
we
for
need a
pinnacle gear.
reason to they need a reason to push pinnacle gear. Currently
And do I
Destiny's
want
missing
more than
is
just
missing a
trials
few
to
key
be the
things.
push?
We're missing reasons to push for pinnacle.
That's true.
I haven't pushed for pinnacle gear at all because what the
Nope.
fuck do I need it for? Right? Unless I'm like would it make raiding easier? Sure, but I don't raid
No,
that
it-
much.
it doesn't,
And even if I
that's the
did,
thing.
Because we've already
And
out leveled the raid.
Yeah, and you already out-level the raid, so it
Yeah.
doesn't make it easier because I can't push the raid challenge up.
Right. Unless they
Right?
they increase the power of the raid each season, which they probably won't do. I don't see
No.
them doing that.
They're not. They can't
The-
because that
Then-
would be
yeah.
gating people.
No,
And
because don't they
the-
make the power creep go up by 10 even if you don't buy the new season?
You're right.
So it
Yeah.
wouldn't matter. They could do it. They could.
then
It'd be
there's-
fine.
Like, there's the in-game activities, like the PvE ones that aren't raid, like the master hunts and stuff like that. But there's no reason to play them because there's no rewards from them. Like,
Maybe
there's nothing from them I can get that I can't get elsewhere.
Mhm.
Well, there is. There's just not rewards that you want.
Yes, that you can get titles and stuff like that, but
I'm
Eh.
saying no. The grind for Nightfalls is for masterwork materials.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
if you can get them, like if you don't need to do like no, I'm talking about like the master hunts and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, no. There's
like
no
on the
reason
moon.
to do master hunt.
There's no reason to do them. Like there's nothing in them I can't get by going to the Nightfall, which is easier,
That's a hot
get.
shot, Comfy.
right? So, like, they're missing reasons to do certain activities in the game across the board. They're missing ones for in-game PvE activities. They're missing ones for just simple things like strikes, right?
Yeah.
And there's not even a reason for people who are casuals or don't like PvP to go into PvP, and you can't point to the seasonal weapons because sometimes the seasonal weapons don't appeal to people,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't care, or they push them to play in the competitive mode rather than in the casual modes. If you're a casual player who only plays casual PvP, you're not going to be pushed into the competitive mode, right? To play PvP. You're going to be extra salty about that.
Ask me about my
and-
comp experience.
They also got rid of the modes in PvP.
Mine's been
like
rough.
some of them where people enjoy it. Like,
Sometimes at least.
where's Rift? Like, tell me
Yeah,
where's
Rift
Rift
would be
at?
cool.
Dude, I want Rift back.
Casual players loved Rift. Like, it was one of the best ways to get them to play PvP because it has an actual objective that everybody plays, and if you're not good at shooting people, you can still play it and win the game,
It's Griffball Plus.
right? So
I love Griffball. So
it's one of those modes that appeal to casual players.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not in the game. Like, you bring back trials for the top end PvP players. Cool, awesome. I'm glad they get something for end game PvP
Yeah,
because they were missing it.
Like endgame,
But you-
like high
could've
level
brought Rift back
PvP
at the same time.
players have been kind of getting the shaft for a very long time. Like
PvP's been getting the shaft
that
as a
too,
whole.
as a whole.
Yes.
You're right.
And
I'm
there's
happy that-
no reason for anybody to play it, grind it, or do end game PvP because it hasn't existed. And even myself, someone who was never into PvP, I really liked trials. I was never an end game PvPer, but I still did trials every weekend. So people saying that it's only for those elite people, it's absolutely not.
No,
'cause I
there's a lot
still
of people
enjoyed
that
it.
enjoy-
It's not.
there's
It's
a lot of
open
people that
for
enjoyed
Lots
that.
of people enjoy it. People like watching and stuff like that.
Casual trials
But
was a thing.
in-
There were people that would do that,
in
and that's
3 to 4
fine.
months.
That's why they give
time,
you bounties to do to get loot.
the number of people playing trials is going to dip dramatically.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that would dip much faster if artifact power was in place.
I agree.
It probably would. It would dip to the same level it's going to dip to,
No, I
and
think it
not
would
go below
lower.
it. I don't think it would.
No, because the reason
'cause-
it would is because people who currently don't play Destiny every single day, but were a part of the Trials community, would be unable to come back to it as a side project and would have to be Destiny streamers full time.
Yeah.
And they won't commit to that because there's no reason to. That would kill momentum for the game because all of the people that everybody would be excited for.
For streamers,
coming
yeah.
back
For
would
your
quit.
average person, no.
For your average
they're not-
person, they also still have to do Destiny as a full-time job if they want to compete.
Yeah, if they would want to hop
Not
into
really. I don't.
if-
I don't think it would matter. I think you'd still have people
if
going
no,
flawless.
if you
It
there
would
would
be
be people
harder,
going flawless.
sure.
The people that would be going flawless would be people that play Destiny outside of trials, because if you just could only play
Listen, if
one
I
or
can sit in
two,
the lost sector on the moon and win trials,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
if you could only play Destiny 1 or 2 days a week on a weekend and you really want to play trials, you're going, if they left the artifact power enabled, you would be left behind within 2 or 3 weeks, and you would just not be able to compete, and you would be delted much more than you would be
They're
without
going to be left behind anyway.
artifact, but not as much. Not as much.
There's
you're
a
not gonna
difference
be-
between being left behind 10 power and 20 power.
100%.
And it's an exponential difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you're going to have that in the first place.
No.
There are going to be people who are going to hit cap on gear from Pinnacles, and they're going to shit on people who can't get the Pinnacle weapon stuff and Pinnacle armor
Yeah, but
because they
that's
don't have people to raid with and
like
stuff
we
like
said, the Pinnacle power cap goes above the hard cap, or not, what would be the cap? The Pinnacle cap is only 10 points higher. 10 points higher is one level of delta. That's not gonna make. It could make the difference in certain gunfights, but it's not going to leave you
that.
defenseless.
For your average players, not the top end players, for your average players, a single delta level is going to make a big difference.
Yes, but
No.
it makes. But imagine taking that
won't make a
difference
big
and make
difference. 3 taps
it
still won't
harder.
kill.
Yeah, like it's.
So yeah, I just disagree with the community in large. I think artifact power should have stayed in. I think they should have stuck with it to try it out.
Are you going to be playing Trials every weekend anyways?
No, I was never going to play Trials. I think they should have stuck to their guns on this.
I think
One way or the other, I was never going to play Trials. I don't like Trials. Trials is a shitty game mode. Elimination is an awful game mode. I've said that before.
I disagree.
I've said that other weeks.
I disagree as well.
I think
Yeah,
elimination.
you can disagree all you want. I think it's a horrible game
Okay,
mode. I
that's
dislike
fine.
That's
elimination.
fine. You don't
You know,
have to like it.
I dislike the other comp modes. They're all crap.
I don't
They
know
have
why
never-
you're arguing to tell us that we're not allowed to have
No,
the game
it's-
mode that we want, the way that we want it.
Because they should have tried. This is Bungie's game, and yeah, it's supposed to cater to the players, but the players never gave it a try. That's my problem. They shit on something, and Bungie went, "Okay, we'll change it before you've even tried it."
it's
Reason
easy
why
to
is
know.
because Iron Banner these last 2 seasons
has been really
had-
terrible. It's not been
has
great.
had artifact power turned on, and it is unbearable
How
to
much-
every single
how
person
much-
who played it.
Really, I reset my Iron Band, like my rank in PvP 7 times this last season
Right.
from Iron Banner alone.
And you have the huge power advantage from the artifact against a lot of casual
No, I
players.
didn't. No, I didn't.
You probably didn't notice
My-
it, but it's 100% a thing. It's a
No,
thing.
what I'm saying is my power level was not that high. I didn't go and grind it out that much.
Listen,
just
I
didn't.
loaded into a
So-
game,
Yeah,
and there was a guy
matchmaking.
with 1,020 light, and I did 0 damage to him.
Yeah,
That's not fun.
that's not fun.
That's
This is
not
especially
entertaining.
if you put that in Trials of Osiris, which is top tier competitiveness. You can't fucking
You're
have
taking-
that in a
You're
competitive
taking the
environment
competitivity
like
away
this.
from it because it's not pay to win. It's if I have more free time, I win the fight because I do more damage than you.
I'm
And
sorry.
I have no problem with that.
sit-
If they play the game more than you, they should have things you don't have,
No, no,
which includes an
not
advantage in game modes.
not a definite. Okay, so if me and this character just let me, if me and this character have the exact same fucking loadout, I play the game once a week. He plays the game 7 days a week. I'm at the same skill level as him. He's gonna win every single fucking time because he plays more. Does that seem fair in a competitive environment to you?
Does it
Yeah.
seem fair that if I'm
I'm
playing
perfectly fine with that.
Oh my
right,
god!
now
All
here's
right,
100% perfectly
Okay.
fine with that.
all right.
No, Dale, I'm gonna play Halo. I'm gonna play through Legendary, and if I
Uh-huh.
beat the campaign, I get extra health in PvP. And everybody else has to deal with that. And if they don't like it, that's their problem.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Considering they
It's
can
the
sit
same
down and do
fucking
it
thing.
themselves, yeah, that is their problem.
Okay. All right. I don't.
You
Okay.
can't take
I don't
something away
wanna-
from people because they have more time. You can't.
So,
what do
so
you-
you'd
Not
rather
fair to that other
alienate
person.
people, but it's
It's-
not fair
Yeah.
to somebody who has to work 5 days a week and doesn't have the time to do it because they're busy taking care of themselves and their livelihood.
Yeah,
not
it's
for
called
that
it's called choices. That's the thing. If someone
Oh my
spends
god. Okay.
wants to choose to spend all their time playing a video game to get an advantage over you, go right ahead. That's
You-
the choice they've made.
In a
Barbara, I don't know
competitive.
why you want to die on this hill because you don't even want to stand on it in the first place.
That's true. You don't play.
No,
you were never
I'm
going to
not
play it.
st-
So then
Look,
why are
the
we?
hill I'm standing on is not the hill for trials. The hill I'm standing on is the fact that
The whole
if they have a
conversation is
system-
about
if they-
trials.
no,
What do
you're
you-
you're arguing for trials. I'm arguing that things like artifact power, if they're in the game, they should matter for every single piece of end game content, no matter what that content is.
I aggressively
That's my
disagree, and
argument.
nothing should ever be a
If
blanket
people
statement.
don't like that, artifact power shouldn't be in the game, period.
Cool.
for
I'd rather have
anything.
artifact power removed than have Trials of Osiris
Right.
be a dumpster
I
fire.
100% agree with you.
Because at this point, if they're taking away from certain activities, they should just take the whole thing out of the game.
I would like
That's
to
the
have an
choice.
option
It's not
to toggle it
half-ass
off.
it.
That's not the.
Yes, that's what they're
Do
doing.
we
They're
need to? We
half-assing
need to talk about
artifact power.
half-assing things. The amount of people that are going to play trials is already a low percentage. The people that
Yes,
play
I think they're
PvP
wasting their
is
time
like it's.
spending money on trials as devs as well.
I disagree. I think there's a lot of people that are going to enjoy trials, but like
There are people who will enjoy trials. There are more people who have enjoyed another activity that wasn't trials.
sure there would
There
be
are
people
more
that
people
enjoy
that
it.
would have enjoyed Rift than Trials.
Listen, there has been.
But you know what?
We're going to
The people
mention
that
it
would have
again.
enjoyed Rift wouldn't come back to Destiny just for Rift.
That's true. Also,
So
we
what?
talked
Enjoy
about it
Trials.
If they're
earlier
not
in the
already playing
podcast.
Destiny, stop aiming at them. You have a
So how are
large
you
player
if you
base,
don't start aiming for players to get more people playing the game?
because
you need
when
to
you're
get
aiming with something like Trials, which is an end-game activity for pinnacle PvP players,
yes.
the number of people you're aiming at is small. Whereas if you
Okay,
aim
and
with
it has been a
something-
section of the
something
community that has
better-
been blatantly ignored for like 8 months plus.
I'm not saying
They-
ignore PvPers. I'm saying they should have done something else with PvP instead of Trials that aimed at a larger base to gain more players in.
The fact that you're not happy with Trials, like that doesn't
This has
mean that
nothing-
everything else is a better decision.
This has nothing to do with Trials for me. This is
The
if
whole
they're
the whole
spending- look,
conversation has been about trials. I
no,
don't.
No, I'm saying as devs, okay? As devs,
You're
if
not
you're
allowed
trying
to
to
listen to your
bring
player base.
if you're trying to bring in more players, this isn't about listening to their player base. This is, are you trying to grow the size of the game that it appeals to? If so, you do not target a minority group. You
What's
don't.
to say that they're trying
It's a
to
bad business decision.
There's a
Why are
lot of
they-
people that are. There's a lot of people that play the PvP, and there's a lot of people that like watching trials. There's a
So,
lot of people
really-
that like casually playing trials. There's a lot of. I
There's less people than you think there are, numbers wise.
Okay, but
They're
regardless,
bringing it back
hey,
because there's a lot of community pressure to bring it back, and they want to gain more views on things like Twitch.
they need and they're
regardless,
they're
which
listening
they
to the
don't need.
community, of course. And why is this a problem? There's a lot of community.
It's not. I'm saying that if you're spending resources as a company, especially now that Bungie doesn't have backing from a larger group where they get money from, you need to allocate your stuff in a certain way. Now, if they've been working on Trials for a long while and had a team working on it, spending money over a longer period of time, great.
they've
if they
literally
took-
been working on it since Forsaken. We
But
have
if
known
they were
this.
if
Mhm.
they weren't spending money, if this is the only PV thing they've spent money on, they've done a disservice to the community. Period. Because it needs more than Trials. You're not drawing in casual players or new players to come play Trials. You're not. You're going to gain some
They
people who
might.
have played D1. They're going to come back. They're going to go, I wasn't playing D2 because I didn't like D2. I still don't like it. I'm out. I don't care that Trials is here. You're going to get some people who play PvP who going to play Trials, go, this isn't for me. They're gone. So I mean, the player base is going to dwindle over a couple of weeks. Period. That's going to happen.
That
It happened
happens
the
with
first time. And
That happens with
That's-
every expansion of any like long-term game like this ever. So like
yes,
Any
but I'm
game,
not talking about
period.
normal. I'm not talking about shrink in general. We have shrink in general. They expect that.
I think
they're-
we should
they're
all
getting-
just stop
have-
complaining about not having stuff to do until we actually see what we're gonna have.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to bring up. It's going to be something. I hope the pacing is better for this season because the pacing this last season wasn't great.
Yeah, I want to
Because we
see
ran
what they
it-
do for the PvE
it's-
section this season.
There's a couple things they need to do. They need to have better pacing for the season. They need to be a little more communicative with how the roadmap works because oh fuck, did that piss people off this time around?
Yeah.
It's I like the seasons, but so far they've been lackluster. And that's me. I've played those seasons. I've went through. I've got all the pinnacle weapons. I've got the titles for both seasons. Right. I've ordered the pins and stuff like that. But the seasons overall have been lackluster. So I'm hoping this coming season is better. I'm hoping it's paced better. I'm hoping the roadmap is better.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to say there's nothing to do before we see what there is to do because we fucking don't know. But I don't think as a company right now they're spending their resources wisely.
I
As a
think we
devs.
have. I think you have legitimately no idea how they're allocating their resources because we.
I
Don't.
don't. I would love to, but from the content they've put out, they're not doing it well.
Well,
Okay. I mean,
No,
Time will
Rift
tell.
isn't as marketable as a here, look at us. It's a end game thing. It appeals to people. Do I think Rift will be played more than Trials overall? Yeah, I do. From a larger player base.
okay.
Just like I think and know for a fact that PvE activities would be. Because that's the majority of the player base.
It's not by that big of a difference though. There's a large PvP community. There is.
It's
it also
bigger
mixes a
than you
whole
think.
lot.
Because the problem with looking at
I
the
literally
hours
had
played,
Rogue put numbers in my chat yesterday, and it
did.
was like
The
30
problem
to
with
60,
those-
dude. It's not that big of a difference. It's pretty significant, but there's a big PvP community, and I think you're just like
No,
not
but there's a
interested in the
PvP
PvP,
community
and
that
it is
plays
making you
only
upset
PvP.
that we're gonna get
There's a PvP community that only plays PvP.
There is.
Yes.
And the casual base that only plays PvE is bigger than the PvP community by far. They just don't play as much because they play a couple days here, a couple hours there, and then they go on their way. They don't do the grinding thing. They don't touch PvP. That's how they play. Bungie knows this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just look at the hours and go, it's equal. The player base is equal. It's not. The number of people is not equal. They know it. It's why PvP has been ignored. It's shitty for the PvP players, but it's why they're ignoring it for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have more people who are playing the other thing. That's just how it is. That's the numbers. Bungie has said themselves, their PvE player base is bigger than their PvP one.
Yeah, of course it is. But there is still quite a large section of the audience that has been ignored for how long now? And if they
Listen,
continue
They
to do
haven't,
it,
and I'm not arguing they shouldn't
they're
get
going to
something.
leave. So that's why they're
We
bringing
can
trials.
say that there's a lot more people that live in Germany than there are in Poland, and that we need to only allocate sources to Germany, but there's still a bunch of fucking Polish people that need help, all right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not saying PvP people shouldn't get something, but if the only thing they're getting is an in-game activity that a good chunk of those people aren't going to play anyways, that's like if
Dude, it's a team that is different from every other team at Bungie that's been doing this for over a year and a half working on
it
trying
is,
to get
but
trials
where's
back.
what I'm saying is where's the other PvP stuff?
Where's the
I
other
don't mean
PvP
balancing, because
stuff?
balancing we should get anyways.
It's a different
Where's the-
team.
Yeah, great. There's a
Go
team
talk to that
working on
team. Don't
trials.
get pissed that
Awesome.
trials exist.
What other
I'm
PvP
not.
shit are you
I'm
talking
happy-
about?
Look, I'm not. That's the thing. What other PvP stuff are they getting? That's what I want to know.
That's what you're.
I can almost guarantee that the PvP team was working on the maps for this season with
Yeah.
trials.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably going to get one new map in the trials maps. I'm happy the trials maps are coming back. D1 maps are better than D2 maps we've seen so far. By
Mhm.
far. I don't know what the fuck they did with the D2.
They
Map
built,
design.
they
Because
organized
D2
it
was-
for 4v4
Yeah,
and different
that's
ranges.
that's literally
Yeah,
it.
but
We know.
Even our newer maps haven't been great in comparison to the original
Man,
ones.
we haven't really been getting a lot of new PvP maps, have we? We don't really get money.
No, they've been going. They went back to the first ones. We
Yeah,
haven't-
because they're
like-
because rather than like redesign new maps, they're just like utilizing old
Porting over
assets
old ones,
and
yeah, which is
I
I'm fine
don't
with.
care.
yeah, those maps work. I like those maps. They're bringing back some good ones.
So then what's the
But-
issue?
The issue is they're not making new good ones. I would like
But
to see
you don't
new
care
good
that
ones
they're
as well.
using old ones.
Yeah, because
people don't care.
Ones. That's
We
people
just
do
like
care.
good
That's the
maps to play
problem.
on.
People want more maps, but they just
course
don't
they
want to
do.
see old stuff.
But at the
right?
same time, people realize that Bungie has become such a smaller company now, and that we are fine being patient and just kind of having old maps brought back to us because it's much less taxing on them, and
Well,
they
Dale, I
play
think
well.
the point of this right now is that apparently
Well,
we're not as patient as you
it's-
think.
It's
I guess.
well, people aren't as patient as they think. I think that's kind of obvious from a lot of reactions with the seasons. And yeah, it's $10 seasons are a problem because there's not enough content in them. And part of that is the reason is that we're not paying enough to produce enough content.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
The way-
a lot of
the
people,
way
a lot of
Destiny is
people would be like that.
structured,
Yeah,
and
sure.
because there's so many different activities in it, and there's a ton of activities in Destiny, none of them is getting the attention they need overall to make them better. Like, for as far as they haven't really worked on, and we know this because of the thing that Luke put out. There's no reason really to drive people into strikes. That's something they know they need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
There's PvP is abysmal currently from the meta standpoint. Things are stale. We're not getting enough updates to the sandbox to change weapon stuff out. There is a change coming for that with the whole, things retiring stuff, and people are mad about that. Great.
You are
I think it's a great.
You are looking at the wrong side of the community because people are not mad about that.
No, there are
The same people
who
that are mad about that are the same people that are mad that Trials is coming back.
Yeah.
No, there are people who are happy Trials is coming back who are mad that they can't use guns they've had for like 2 years. I'm happy the weapons are going away. I wish and hope it soon affects exotics because it'll open up more design space.
Literally says that it
And
won't.
you also have to think if
They
only
say they are going to work on it, which is great. I'm just saying I'm hoping that affects exotics sooner rather than later, because some of the exotics they need to go. They've been around for too long.
the exotics are staying.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Exotic,
will
they have
be-
said will be
Yeah.
removed
They
and
will-
slowed down.
Yeah, they will. They're going to add the exotics to the same system the legendaries has. It's just I'm hoping they add them sooner to that system rather than later, because if the legendaries go away, people are just going to lean on the exotics because they're not changing, right?
Uh-huh.
That's just what's going to occur there.
Well, last word's already getting nerfed, thank God.
Yeah, fuck, thank God for that thing. I wish they never brought it back, really. One thing I hate about exotics is that we get so few new of them, and they're like, here's more exotics, and most of them are old.
Yeah.
We got 3
don't
new
like
ones
that.
this season. That's way more than we got in like dead time of
Year?
Destiny 1.
Yeah, like, and
We
it's
got 3
more
new
we've
exotic
gotten.
weapons and a new exotic armor for each class.
We
which
did. I wish
is more than the entire House of Wolves DLC
Yes.
brought. So
it is. They're not all great. And the problem with a lot of these new stuff we're seeing is that people aren't going to use them, while things like old stuff that they've used forever and know inside and out are still in the system, right? It's like one of the reasons with like Div 2 has an expansion coming out. There's 10 new exotics coming out in it, okay, in the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
The old exotics are not going to be able to be brought up to level 40 at the get-go.
Okay,
Like,
and this is
'cause that's
also
the thing.
this is also an expansion, and they have been.
It is. It's a bigger expansion. It's not $10.
Yeah.
But the way they're doing it is they're making sure that they're leaving old stuff at a point where you like it's better to use the new things and try new stuff out than sticking to your old things. And that's something I kind of want Destiny to do. Is I don't want to keep playing with the same guns.
I agree.
I want new guns.
Most people,
right?
most people are
and
like
I
that.
want-
Most people
And I want
agree.
new exotics. It's why they're
Yeah.
retiring stuff. I hope that's what I'm saying. I hope they do the same to the exotics soon, because it has people play new stuff. It has people play with new things, and it opens up more design space. If, say, the last word isn't in the system, they don't have to, work around it. Or certain exotics for armor, which do a certain thing, aren't in the system to break something, like or fucking Telesto.
Listen, I like Wormhusk. I shouldn't
I'm
be
curious
able to
to
run
see
Wormhusk still.
I'm curious to see what the fuck Tusk is going to break in this new season. They should just get that gun out of the game. It's going to break something. Telesto.
Oh,
Telest-
Telesto. I thought okay.
Telesto is going to break something
gotcha.
in this new season.
Probably.
100%.
It always does.
It's actually going to just give you a 9-win card in trials.
God damn it.
Oh, it's probably going to do something stupid, and people are like, "We're using this," and
But yeah, I really hope that we see them come
it's
out.
permanently broke. It's permanently broke. Telesto should be gone. It causes such a problem. They should probably just take it out.
Probably,
To be honest.
but will they? Probably not.
No.
Well, it's however they coded.
I feel like the Telesto is the one
projectiles.
weapon that they could do that with, and the majority of the community would be understanding.
would be
like,
fine
yeah,
with
okay.
it, because it's every time it's
Yeah.
broken, and they just kind of have to remove it anyway.
They've had to temporarily remove it in order to fix things like fucking 6
multiple
times.
times. Yeah, and
God, it's a
always
lot.
something different. Like they're like, we fixed it, it's broken again. We fixed it, it's broken again. It's like, the fuck is wrong with this gun?
Yeah. But either way, they will probably release more. They'll probably do like more of a reveal stream this week. Hopefully.
Thursday, yeah, Thursday. We're gonna,
Okay, so we'll get to see
I
what
what Wednesday, because that's when they always do them.
is that when
Did
they
they
do
say
it.
they're doing a stream though?
I
They
don't know.
haven't announced anything, but every
was-
single. So here's the thing: people this week have been
I'm
so doom and
surprised.
gloom. I'm kind of fucking done with it.
I'm
One of the big
surprised they
things was
haven't
people
said we're having a
were-
stream.
They
That's a little weird.
they see. Okay, Ed, that's a lot of people are saying that. Do you know when they announced the season of Dawn stream?
Yeah, it was the same week.
It was the day before,
Uh-huh.
and it was on the Wednesday of. Do you know when they announced the season of Opulent stream? The day before. Every single season has been announced the Wednesday before, and the stream has been the week before, except for large expansions like Forsaken and
Right.
Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
granted, Curse of Osiris and Warmind were expansions, so they were ahead of time. But
Right.
every other season has been revealed the week before, and the fact that, like, I read a thread where somebody was like, "It's the end of the world. Bungie doesn't have faith in Season of the Worthy because we haven't
Oh,
gotten
no.
anything yet."
I know
And then
we were-
somebody was like, somebody posted exact dates of release and stream,
Mhm.
and it was all less than a week away and announced.
Oh yeah,
less
I
than
knew
a
we
week
weren't. I knew we weren't getting anything before
So,
this.
So I hope
I
that
think
this week.
if they're doing streams, they should probably, like, they should have said in the TWAB, we're gonna have a stream on Wednesday.
They probably
That-
should have, but they probably
that
don't
would've been-
also have it scheduled perfectly yet.
they might not.
No, probably not.
Either
But if
way,
they knew they were gonna have one way or the other, they probably should have had one. But it's also winter, so it's with people. So, but yeah, either way, we're either gonna get something Wednesday or Thursday.
and it'll show
know
what
we're getting-
they're bringing for
yeah,
PvE.
I know we're getting information. On
It'll
one of those
definitely.
days.
I hope it's something significant. I'm very hopeful. I'm sure it'll be something to keep people busy for at least a while,
We're-
like last season
We're gonna
was,
get
and then
a front-loaded content
yep,
because we always do with seasons.
yeah,
Um,
which I'm fine with.
because they know people have dwindled off at the end of the season.
Mhm.
So we're gonna get front-loaded content. Friday we get trials on the 13th because we know that for sure.
Yep.
I hope they also, when they do
I
their
hope-
stream, I hope they talk about what they're going to do for like
I hope they talk about
anti-cheat
that.
stuff more.
We have an anti-cheat. I hope they don't go super detailed into it though, because the more information they put
That's
out,
true.
the more information
That's a good point.
hackers know about how to get around it.
That's true.
So it's a weird balance. So I want
Yeah.
something to be there. I want them to say there's something there and give us
Mm-hmm.
some basic info and not go super detailed to give them a leg up in circumventing. And
Yeah.
I hope they go.
easy anti-cheat.
I hope they go hard back to Bungie of old with how they dealt with cheaters.
Which is,
Delete everything in your account.
they're just like straight banning people.
I know they're going to straight ban people, but with it being free
I mean,
access.
they currently are like
I know.
the current ban
I
system
wish
is just like
I wish
flat
IP
gone.
bans would work, but there's ways now to get around them.
Yeah.
VPNs are a hell of a drug.
Yeah,
I don't
so it's. I hope they address the whole naming issue that Steam still has, because I'm getting tired of that. like
Some of the names you see are real rough. Yes.
Yeah. like VPNs, Steam. Yeah, there's issues. So it's a challenge. Like this being on a PC is going to be a massive challenge.
Yeah.
I expect less problems on console for Friday than I do PC. PC
Yeah.
is going to be, I think, a bit of a shit show because no matter what they put in place, there are going to be people who get around it.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, yeah,
So-
and there's going to be DDoSing because as is
Mhm. That's the other big problem with
I
PC.
I also expect an increase in the like activity with like hacking and stuff like that with
Oh, yeah,
trials
for
coming
sure.
back. So I hope that they
They're gonna
have
try
everything
to, at least.
set up properly
Yeah,
to
they-
not be an
they've-
issue.
I'm saying they've got to have something out. So I'm curious to see what it is. I just don't want too much information
I know.
to be out there in the world.
I do know for a
I
fact
want
that
nothing.
I'll be playing trials on Sunday mornings for
Mm-hmm.
at least like a month, probably, if not longer. I think probably. I hope I want to at least. So yeah, that'll be fun.
I also want to know what the story is going to be for this week. Like this. In this
Oh
coming week,
yeah,
what
that
we're
that
gonna
shit
get
with
story-wise.
Osiris and Rasputin has me
Rasputin,
very
yeah.
like, what's about to happen? We're gonna have Russia's
would've-
You
greatest love
guys read the
machine.
new lore?
I
No.
did. I kind of wish we were getting a Rasputin Osiris type war, and you could pick one side, but that's not kind of what we're getting. It doesn't look like so.
Team Rasputin? Are you
No.
Team Rasputin?
There's
Okay.
no team.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's no. Rasputin's still on. Like Osiris and Rasputin are on the same side.
We'll see.
That's
Literally,
basically what-
the lore is released, and the second line in it is Osiris saying, "I can forgive you for your past transgressions."
There
Yes,
you go.
Which is
Perfect.
him shooting the Traveler, because that's probably a good thing overall for humanity. Speaking, like
Well,
forcing the Traveler to
Osiris-
remain here.
Osiris
only
has
reason
been
we're
doing
still
the
around.
math in his head, and he's like, maybe if you didn't cripple the Traveler, maybe the darkness would have just left us alone.
Wait, did Rasputin do that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the reason the
that's-
Traveler, like the
that's
reason
the
the Traveler's
Traveler-
broken on the bottom and never left is because Rasputin blasted him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because the
prevented
Traveler
him
was
from-
trying to bitch out.
He was trying to leave, like it always does. Every time the darkness finds the Traveler, he would always
Oh,
leave. Like that's
got
why
it.
he left the Helsinki and stuff like that. And we have the Fallen.
Oh
Um,
shit.
Right,
What, is
that's
that
what the
like,
Great Whirlwind
so-
was when the darkness
Yeah,
came and the Traveler
yeah,
just
that-
bugged out.
is that
Yeah,
new
the Traveler's
lore?
like, fuck this shit. No, that's D1
Oh
lore.
shit. Oh, okay. I guess I just
That's
never
real.
realized
That's
that.
real old lore.
This is OG.
So what we
Yeah,
have to
so-
do is dismantle the Traveler and then just take
So
the light for
the
ourselves.
Traveler was trying to leave.
Gaul had it right.
Rasputin stopped it from leaving, and so the Traveler, now that it can't leave, came up with a backup plan, which was the ghosts.
Yep.
Which is literally we exist because Rasputin shot the Traveler.
Good shit.
Like-
Okay. All right.
So, and then the darkness came and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's hard to say that we would have been fine from the darkness had the Traveler just left, because the Hive were already here, and the Fallen followed along behind them, and it did start destroying stuff of ours. So it's hard to say one way or the other if we would have survived or not. So
Probably not. Or we'd
probably
be in
not,
wreck.
or we'd be like the same way the Fallen are, right? Like a broken remnant of a people. So
Right.
We're probably better off that he did it. So, I don't know where they're going to go with this story now. I don't super want them to focus on Osiris because they kind of fucked Osiris up, and I don't really care about him anymore. They have started fixing that though, which is nice. Yeah, and as Richard says, like I built a sundial to travel through time. I left it in the open. Maybe take out the key component that makes this thing work. So even if someone stumbles across it, they can't use it.
But I need to go back in to get my lore.
So,
I mean, Osiris has got to be taking it apart at the end of the season, right?
well, we kind of took the core out of it to build the lighthouse. So yes.
Okay. Do we know what's in that core yet?
Did we? I thought that was the artifact.
We took something from the time travel thing that made it work.
Do we know what made it whisper yet? Do we know?
No, it's
Okay.
we might not know for like 4 years. It's Destiny.
That's true.
It's like,
Very true.
we still don't know what happened to the Exo Stranger. That's the thread that's never been.
We do know what happened to the Exo Stranger.
And
Well, we
nobody's
know who
had
the-
time for us to
We
explain.
know who they are. We don't know what the fuck they are. Or how they were able to time travel in the first place.
I assume it's timey-wimey.
So there's a lot of unexplored threads with Destiny
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's just how Destiny works.
Yep.
So I don't know if they're like. It looks like we're going with Osiris and Rasputin, but there's still stuff going on with Eris Morn on the moon. So I'd like to see more of that rather than just dropping that thread for a couple years, like we do normally with Eris.
Like we do with Destiny, dropping every single like story thread
Well,
all the time.
They've said that the story is moving into a peak from like
Which
the
is good.
expansion and through the seasons. Is that after this one, it's supposed to move into like a peak climax type moment,
Yeah, in season
So-
11.
and for season 11.
Mhm.
But we don't really know how that's going to work because they're kind of like this current season, like with Saint, is pretty much resolved. Like the time travel thing is
It got
done. Like,
resolved very quickly.
yeah, it's a weird thing to have resolved. Just like, okay, it's done now. It's like,
It was like
Eh.
week 3. We didn't really have any more story to like go after.
yeah. So now they have said they weren't really delivering with the story and Luke's thing as well. So I
Yeah.
expect that to be a bit better. I don't know if that's going to take place this season or if he means going forward and like from season 11, it's going to be better.
Well,
So-
so something I noticed is the cutscene that they have with Osiris and Rasputin. That's in engine, so they're not
Yes, yeah.
they're not having Blur do their cutscenes anymore. It's too expensive. But that
Yeah.
means that they also have full control in house and can do it a lot faster.
That's cool.
Well, I still hope.
Was
they
this the
update their
first time
engine
they
personally.
did that all in house? Did the last seasons was that done by who did you say Blur?
Blur, yeah.
Okay.
It's the name of the company that's done. They did like the Forsaken and the Red War.
See, you guys are a lot better at keeping
Yeah.
like actually knowing about
Tab
that
on
kind of like
things, yeah.
in industry stuff. That's probably like one of my biggest fucking weaknesses.
The
is-
only reason I know about Blur is because it's one of the dream companies that I want to work at.
Got it.
Yeah, they're an insanely good production company.
They make. I can send you some of the stuff that they've made. They make all of the best stuff. They made all like
Cool.
the Halo 2 anniversary cutscenes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically if you've seen a great cutscene that isn't Blizzard, it's probably them.
Blur.
Gotcha. All
because
right.
Blizzard does their own because they're Blizzard and their people are top notch.
So yeah, I think
Um,
next week we're gonna end up having a whole bunch more Destiny shit to talk about. What they will actually reveal as PVE stuff, and then we'll probably discuss
we're also
that,
gonna have
and then some
ton
Division
of
2 stuff.
Division 2 stuff to go over because
Yay!
come tomorrow that launches and we've got new story stuff.
Honestly,
new
in a
hunts
perfect
and
world,
things.
I want to grind Division 2 in the week and then play some trials on the weekend and be happy and content with all that. And then it'll be fantastic and fun.
You know
and
the
everything will
bad
be
thing?
perfect. What's that?
The annoying thing is that come the 10th, we have the new Destiny stuff out, right?
Right.
We also have new content for the Division 2 on the 10th.
Do we have... Oh.
Not enough.
So yeah, that's the 10th is going to be an interesting
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
March is a shit show for games.
Yeah.
That's for anybody who's wondering. Like, there's new Div 2 stuff. There's no Destiny stuff. Animal Crossing, I think, is out.
Kaylee's
I
getting
think
Animal Crossing.
So
I won't be
hype for
playing
Animal
that.
Crossing. You have no idea,
You're
the
what
fuck
now?
else is it
You
for?
going to be playing Animal Crossing, Comfy?
dude. I haven't played Animal Crossing since I had it on like my DS.
Uh-huh. Are you excited? Are you going to
Like,
be...
I'm
hopping in?
totally playing Animal Crossing when
cool.
it comes out.
I hope it's good.
I'm
Oh yeah,
going
the
to
new
be doing
Pokemon
some-
Mystery Dungeon is out as well. That month in March.
New is big quotes.
Yeah, new, but you know it's going to draw a massive number of attention. Anyways, it's Pokemon. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is pretty great too.
it is. They are great games.
They're very fun. I have no reason to get this one because it's a remake,
Yes.
but that's not stopping
if
me
you-
from going.
if
"Damn,
you've already
that's
played
awesome,
it,
they're still playing.
Probably not a need to get it again, but if you haven't played it,
Highly recommend. Highly recommend. I love Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
another really big game. Oh fuck, is Doom out as well?
Shit.
Doom comes out on the same day as Animal
Fuck,
Crossing.
it is too. Yeah, Doom is out next month in March as well. Like that's the other big one I was listening. Oh yeah, and the new Half-Life game is
I
out in
really
March.
want to play the new Doom, but I don't want to spend $60 on it right now. I just had to
Same.
fix...
So
I just
but
had to
I'm-
fix Lamp.
I'm prioritizing Animal
there's-
Crossing over Doom, but that's the only game I'm purchasing.
there's also a My Hero game out.
Mhm.
Neo 2 is out.
There's a One Punch game. Oh, Neo 2, I need that.
There's a One Punch Man game?
Yeah, Neo 2 comes out on the 13th, Compy.
What's the One Punch Man game? Is that going to be decent? Anybody have any idea?
I think it's already out, and you literally just one hit everything.
That sounds
so-
boring as a game, actually.
So there's Persona 5
see.
Royal is out. A re-release of Saint Row 4. There's a One Piece game out. Bleeding Edge comes out. Half-Life Alyx comes out. Doom comes out. Animal Crossing comes out. MLB The Show comes out. Neo 2 comes out. The My Hero game comes out.
Cool.
A new Ori game comes out. The Pokemon game. Div 2 expansion. Destiny, a new season. Like, it's a fucking busy month.
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing I'm caring about is Division 2 and Destiny. So,
Doom is going to be interesting.
Doom, I would 100% do Doom if I had the funds.
Doom's out on the 20th, so it's a little farther in.
Gotcha.
Neo 2, which I know Comfy wants, is out on the 13th, so the same day as Trials.
All right. Well, yeah, that'll
it's a
be
busy month, and then the following month we get. Is it Final Fantasy that comes out the following month?
Yeah.
I don't know.
10th of April.
Yeah, and then the month after is Cyberpunk.
No, Cyberpunk's in September. Cyberpunk got hella delayed.
Oh yeah, it got super delayed to September.
Okay.
Final Fantasy got minor delayed.
Yeah, minor delay for Final
March
Fantasy, which
to
is
April.
probably better for people's wallets. Because let's be fair, if you were playing Final Fantasy VII, you were probably playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because you're into RPGs and you're not going to skip the Cyberpunk one, I don't think.
No, I don't think I'll be skipping Cyberpunk.
I mean, especially since Final Fantasy VII is probably the most dystopian of the Final Fantasy games rather than super fantasy.
Mhm.
Well, it is relatively cyberpunk.
Yeah. It was a weird turn at the time for when it first came out.
All right. So yeah, we'll have more news about Destiny
game
and
stuff,
some
yeah.
Division stuff to share next week, as well as the first 3 episodes of Babylon, and then episode 9 of In-Spectre. It seems like this episode's gonna have a fight,
this one.
or not. It'll probably have a fight.
I hope it does. If
ended
it
with
doesn't,
a fight, so I mean,
if
they
it
better do
doesn't have a
something.
fight in this episode, or it's not a big part, I'm gonna be so disappointed in this show. It's
All
gonna be
right.
like, why? Come on.
Well,
2 episodes in 5 seconds? Like, I
all right. Well,
feel like watching Dragon Ball Z with him like doing Spirit Bomb power up for 3 episodes in a row.
What? You don't like the Spirit Bomb power up for 5 episodes in a row?
So yeah, that's fun.
Loud noises.
Next week will be a good one. So
Next week
Comfy,
will be a week.
Yeah, next week is gonna be a lot of Div 2 stuff because so many changes.
I'm gonna be going hard
Hey.
in Div 2.
I have a question. What do I need to do to get ready for?
You're already done. You're good.
Warlords?
You need to hit World Tier 5.
No, you don't. I thought it was World Tier 1.
He technically he
Do
only
you
needs to
have
hit World Tier 1 if he doesn't want to get murdered in the first mission. He needs to hit World Tier 5 because his gear score isn't at 500. It's like 200.
Okay.
Is the first mission going to be at 500?
The first mission is going to be like level 30, 500 gear score basically.
I don't think it'll be 500 because 500 is the current cap, and there's going to be a lot of people that wait.
That's also what the character boost gives you
That's
is
true.
level 30
Okay. All right.
500 gear. So yeah, that's where it's starting.
Well, don't
Okay.
I get a character boost with the purchase of Warlords?
I think so.
So you'll probably be fine.
I'll
But
check you.
if you
I'd like to
finish
play
this,
open still.
the thing
I
with the
have two
character
Sudoku
boost-
tabs.
the thing with the character boost, it's been mentioned that if you're already so far in, like if you're done the story, you can't use it.
Got it.
So
So I'd have to make a
Comfy-
new character, which would
Comfy may
really
not
matter
be able
to me
to-
anyways.
yeah, Comfy may not be able to use it on his current guy. So it's up to him. Like it won't take long to pump you to World Tier 5 Comfy.
Well, I mean, I'm World Tier 2 and
Yeah. You're World Tier 2 on the next
Stronghold.
stronghold to go to World Tier 3.
And then I
So-
have to do, what, 2 more missions or Stronghold and then the final Stronghold?
You literally have 4 missions and 3 strongholds to run and you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
And you can run them on normal. So it's not exactly hard.
dude, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands recently. Oh
Yeah,
my
so is
god.
Shark. Shark's been leveling up his characters.
I've been kind of like, I guess, tricking people into using EchoCast.
Well, it's the whole skipping and cutscenes has made leveling characters so much faster.
Oh,
That's what's drawn a bunch of
one of
people
the
back
reasons I
to
started doing it.
re-level people.
I tricked Jim Watson to trying it out too, because I came into his stream and he was like, "Oh, are you using EchoCast?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Oh, I should try that."
Yeah, Shark's been over on Twitch using the cast.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
saw.
I keep leveling up badasses to murder him with. It's great.
Dude, oh man, the badasses. I was doing one of the missions on Necrodefeo yesterday, or 2 days ago, and Rala became the boss, and the boss became actually so tanky because I was on Mayhem. I was only on Mayhem 2, but the boss was then now 4 levels above me. And had extreme damage resistance of every type to every gun that I had except for one.
Yep. I mean, I was watching Shark yesterday. I got a badass to double his level, and I put 6 double damages on the boss, and then a couple of heals. So he literally couldn't damage the boss without the boss healing, and the boss was one shot, and the thing was one shotting him because it was double his level and had a bunch of double damage. It's like this isn't fair.
All right. So we should wrap this up. Where can everybody find you nerds on the internet? Comfy?
You can find me mixer.com/Comfamous, twitch.com/Comfamous, Twitter at Comfamous, Instagram at Comfamous.
Did you say Twitch too?
Yeah, I said Twitch.
Okay, I didn't. Sorry.
What about
I-
Confamous.com and Confamous?
There you go.
No, I did see that comfy.gg is available though.
Yeah, you shouldn't have
Good.
told anybody.
I don't
Copper,
care.
what about
I'm
you?
not- I'm not gonna buy it.
GT domains are pretty cheap too. You can find me at Copperlion Art and Copperlion Design on Twitter and Instagram, or at copperliondesigns.com. I actually have a .com because I kind of need one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can find me. I'm at mixer.com/Mr. Vengeance and Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, that's it. And Mr. Vengeance TV, and then like the YouTube where we put the podcast as well, besides just uploading it as a podcast at Mr. Vengeance on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Next week we'll be back with Babylon. You guys all have good nights and good weeks,
And
and we'll
remember,
see you
TTV,
soon.
by the way.
TTV, by the way.